If we can agree that the purpose of your PowerPoint presentation is to make change happen, to persuade other people to move forward, then it seems like the next question is, how do I do that? I want to share two approaches, both of which work really effectively. The first one is quite simple. If, then, else. If we believe that this is the sort of thing that we do, then our next step is clear. Else, we're not the kind of people we think we are. Or, if this is true, then that is true. Or else, our understanding of how the world works can't possibly be right. Or, if we agree that when something like this comes along, we have to take action, and this has happened, then we have to take action. If, then, else. We imply it. Sometimes we even say it out loud. If our goal is to maximize our profits and our competitor is stealing our market share, then we must take action. If we don't, we're going to end up losing. If, then, else. We can repeat this mantra throughout the entire presentation, reminding people of the clause and of the thing that comes after the clause and the consequences of ignoring it. What we're seeking to do is, in some moments, bring facts to the table, evidence, stories that resonate. In other moments, create tension when we juxtapose those facts with the way the world is. And finally, give people a way to release that tension by giving them an opportunity to take action. The other method, which comes from a man named Marshall Ganz, who's a professor at Harvard, who worked with Cesar Chavez, and he also worked on the original Obama campaign, is this idea of the story of self, the story of us, the story of now. 3 steps. We begin by establishing who we are, what our intent is, how we got here, what it is to be us. Step 2, the story of us. What do we all have in common that brings me to talk to you? And finally, the story of now. Now that we can agree that the self, the story you originally heard, connects to the us, why do we need to do something now? Again, the call to action. If all 3 aren't present, forward motion is unlikely to happen. We need the narrative, the hero, the journey. What's present right here, right now, that we need to care about? Who has shown up in this room? The agent of change. What's their journey? What have they discovered? What change are they seeking to make? That's the story of self. You are speaking to us. You have the clicker. You are in charge in this moment. You have the power to decide what we're going to hear next. Why? Why'd you show up? What's your story? What's your arc? What matters to you? And then the second step. Why should we care? We get that it matters to you. Why does it matter to us? How do you broaden your journey, your heroic venture, to include us? Why do us want to go along with you? And once we can feel that the us is in the room, we can understand that people like us do things like this. And again and again and again, that's what I've been saying about marketing. We have to establish who people like us are and what people like us do when we take action. And most of the time, in most organizations, in most situations, with most sales, with most marketing, with most organizational change, you may have self and you may have us, but the response is almost always later. I'll do it tomorrow. We'll look at this next week. We don't have the budget for it right now. It's not high enough on our priority list. Can I get back to you? And thus, the story of now. Why is it cheaper now than it will be tomorrow? Why is it more urgent now? Why is there a competitive reason, a moral reason, some sort of urgency that gets the us in the room to respond to your last call to action. When you ask the people in the room to do something, you're not saying any questions. You're saying, right now, okay? You're challenging the group to deal with the fear and the tension and the risk of doing something by making it clear to them that the cost of doing nothing is just too high. That this urgency is going to come from your point of view. Yes, from the facts you bring to the table, but also from our understanding of who we are. People like us, we do things like this. Action now. If you're not seeking action now, we probably don't need you to spend our time in a meeting. And we probably don't need you to make yet another deck. We don't have a deck shortage. We have enough decks. Your PowerPoint is your narrative. It's your lever. It's your chance to get in, to speak up, and to make something happen.